hundreds attended Free Palestine Solidarity March on Sunday in the Gambia. COVID-19 shrinks Uganda's economy as the East African country witnessed a decline in remittances. And Egypt's first mobile fueling station has begun operations. Well, these and more coming your way on News Desk. Hello, this is iAfrica TV. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Now, about 100 protesters have gathered to attend a Free Palestine Solidarity March in the Gambia, moving from Churchilltown to Buvizon. Now, the peaceful march, according to the organizers, is to show support to the people of Palestine following 11 days of conflict with Israel. As Pintafati reports, the protesters were holding banners and flags as they chant Free Palestine. Here's more of that in this report.
End persecution! End persecution!
The Solidarity March was organized by Gambia's Free Palestine Peace and Solidarity Movement, FPPSM, with the hashtag Free Palestine. Scores of Gambians from different walks of life marched from Churchilltown to Buvizon to show solidarity with the people of Palestine. The protest comes as Egypt broke a ceasefire that was reached on Friday between the two sides appears to be holding. Alhaji Mamadou Kamara, one of the organizers, frowned at the delay of the international community, particularly the United Nations and human rights movement, in condemning the action of Israel.
Palestinians are facing oppression and bombardment by Israel over 10 days. So we see that it took international communities, most of them UN and most human rights movements or organizations, it took them 10 days to come and condemn this inhuman behavior. So we see as brothers and as people and as humans also, we see it is important for us to add our voice to those who condemned it and stand with Palestinian people.
Despite the ceasefire appears to be holding, to some of these protesters, that alone is not enough.
No, the ceasefire is not even enough. Palestine has been going through this for 73 years. I think we have more than enough. The world should stand with a unified voice instead of being discriminatory, instead of being selective, instead of operating double standards. What Israel is doing is a war crime, and a war crime is subjected to prosecution. The ICC should take the appropriate line of action to ensure that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist government are brought before a competent court of law to address this issue.
Other protesters joined the crusade to call on international community to encourage peace and ensure the protection of the rights of all humans. The conflict between Israel and Palestine began on 10th May.
But I will express my disappointment with the Gambia as the host of the International Human Rights Office. I believe the Gambia should have been the first country to come and condemn what the Israeli people are doing to these Palestinians. But it takes the Gambia about 2 weeks before I get a statement from the government, which is a little bit disappointing, though it's better to be late than never.
Israel's 11-day airstrike left at least 279 Palestinians killed, including 69 children and 40 women, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. 12 Israelis were also killed in Palestinian rocket fire from Gaza Strip. While more than 90,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes, much of Gaza's infrastructure, including civilian buildings, were badly damaged. For iAfrica TV News, I am Binta Fati.
Free Palestine protests organized in the Gambia, like it has been happening in many other countries around the world. And from the report there by Binta Fati to some other news now, because with the growing populations in the Gambia, the possession of a plot of land is one of the treasures for high-income earners in a very competitive market. Considering the unattainability of a bank loan or saving that would buy home for the teacher, the Gambia's Teachers Cooperative Credit Union went into a business of estate development for her members. A few months after the allocation plots in the Kachuma State, the union dispensed thousands more properties from the C4 estate on Saturday. And here's more of that in this report.
The site visit to C4 in the Combo South accorded at least 500 members of the GTU-CCU the hope that they won't retire from the teaching field in rented homes. The project allocated plots of lands measuring 20 by 20 to 1,000 teachers through the loan facilities of the credit union. The initiative forms part of the social commitment on the side of the Teachers Credit Union to turn the old narrative of teachers living forever without a house built from the fruits of their labor. Janet Mansal has been working for the Gambia Teachers Union for 15 solid years and would have attained the retirement age by September without her dream home. Her story has changed immediately with the intervention of the credit union.
I do not have a house. I have been renting and almost retiring. But with this plot of land, it is something that I can hold on to because it is a great, great thing. And it would, if I'm able to put up a structure, it will exempt me from the high rates of rentage nowadays.
Many others like Janet would, after retirement, spend half of their pension benefits on house rent instead of investing it in other life-changing ventures. Although this scenario cuts across the sub-Saharan Africa, Gambia has a big share in the bitter pill. Momodou Lamin Sambu, chairman of the Land Allocation Committee, explained how members could benefit from the housing projects.
The first eligibility, which is the most important, is you have to be a member and a paid-up member for that matter. If you are a paid-up member, you can pick up a form, apply, you'll be shortlisted, and then call for a virtual interview and allocated a plot. Yeah.
On the path of Dauda Kujabi, Deputy Manager of Gambia Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, the move is a historic in the sense that both the cost and the mode of payment is in consideration of the status of the teacher.
Each plot of land is costing $55,000. And like I said, the mode of payment is like any other credit union loan. $55,000 in the sense that it will not attract any interest. That is the total cost. So each teacher can also pay this plot of land in a space of 3 years. The payment plan is spread in such a way that you'll be able to pay gradually.
Teachers being among the least paid servants leaves them in the struggle with loans with hopes to make good livings. The C4 site is the second teacher estate in the Gambia. It came after the successful allocation of lands to GTU-CCU members in Kachume, near Kombo Sanyang, some months ago. The Land Allocation Committee said it is heading to Berending as soon as possible for the creation of the third teacher estate under the GTU-CCU. For iAfrican News, Sohna Tunkara.
Sohna Tunkara reporting there as Gambia Teachers Union working with real estate agencies to provide homes for their members. Now, the outbreak of the COVID-19 has an unprecedented impact on the Uganda's economy as the country witnessed a decline in remittances. The amount of money sent from abroad by Ugandans serves as a major source of Uganda's economy, contributing at least 5% of the country's domestic product. The remittance inflow is projected to decline 14% by 2021 compared to the pre-COVID-19 levels in 2019, according to the latest estimate published in the World Bank's Migration and Development Brief. Here is more details of that in this report.
The latest World Bank reports indicate that remittances from Ugandan workers abroad fell to $1.1 billion in 2020 from $1.4 billion the previous year. The drop was caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic. Now, hundreds like Esther Namaganda are bearing the brunt of the shortfall. Little has been coming through from her partner who lives abroad.
The lockdown comes, it's not working, I'm not working. Yeah, the money reduced. Some weeks he could not send money. So he could send like every after 2 weeks, yet before it was on a weekly basis.
Uganda is one of the top African countries whose households are supported by money transfers from family members working in foreign countries. The remittances mostly come from the Middle East, where an estimated 150,000 Ugandans are employed. And with many migrant workers losing their jobs during the pandemic, economic experts believe the flow of money from abroad will take a while to recover.
The nature of Ugandans in that economy are not getting back their jobs. That's also a possibility that probably based on the level of education, based on where they are, based on the sectors they are in, they may not be the first to get back their jobs. In that case, it could get worse.
Remittances to Uganda account for at least 5% of the country's gross domestic product. The current downturn could have further ramifications for the economy at a time when income and tax revenues are needed most.
This money, remember, comes directly to Ugandans, and some of this money is invested, some of this money is used to construct, so all this translates into jobs for ordinary people. So if you don't have this money there, then you have a challenge.
That challenge will certainly be difficult to overcome in the short term, but longer term, there appears to be some hope. While the COVID-19 pandemic paints a grim picture on remittances for Uganda, many think it could change for the better. Experts predict the increased COVID-19 vaccination and the opening up of travel will turn around the downward curve on how much can be sent back home.
Like many other countries around the world, Uganda is also, of course, confessing the COVID-19 pressure, or that's the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And from the reporter in Kampala, we would now take a break and come back. Suddenly stay with us, there's more to come.
Following the announcement by the Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC, of the dates for the general voter registration scheduled from the 29th of May to 11th July 2021, the National Council for Civic Education, NCCE, reminds the public that voter registration is an integral part of the electoral process, as it is key to franchise as stated in Section 39 of the Constitution, and hence a civic right and a duty for all eligible Gambians. The NCCE therefore encourages every eligible citizen to fully participate in this crucial national exercise, as it is the basis for any credible and participatory election. The National Council for Civic Education informs the public that to register and acquire a voter's card in the upcoming general voter registration exercise, one has to prove your Gambian citizenship by producing one of the following documents as stated in Section 12 of the Elections Act: birth certificate, ID card, passport, or alcalo or district chief attestation. As the Gambia prepares for this very important national exercise, the National Council for Civic Education reminds the public to stay away from any altercation and refrain from the use of abusive language, provocative actions, intimidations, thugs and physical confrontation at all times, as these contravene the laws of the Gambia. The public is encouraged to follow due process to seek redress when the need arises during the period to ensure that peace and stability prevail throughout the process. Voter's card is your key to franchise. Register to vote and vote wisely. This message is brought to you by the National Council for Civic Education, NCCE, with support from the United Nations Development Programme.
Welcome back, and this is Africa TV. Once again, many thanks for joining us, and now to the rest of the stories. Now, ahead of the 2021 edition of the National Journalism Awards, the Gambia Press Union kick-started preparations for the prestigious event. The organizing committee tasked with the responsibility to coordinate the organization, logistics and fundraising for the award on Saturday briefed the media about their mode of preparation.
The National Excellence in Journalism Awards was launched in 2016 as a flagship event in commemoration of World Press Freedom Day as declared by the United Nations General Assembly. The award is the highest and most prestigious journalism event in the country, which honors and celebrates courageous and hardworking journalists for their outstanding contribution to the development of the society. The chairperson of the organizing committee, Jaina Banyangjai, said the Journalism Award welcomes all Gambian journalists working for registered home-based media platforms.
The award is open to all Gambian journalists working for registered Gambian media houses, outlets, and platforms. Works published by Gambian journalism or Gambian journalists for the international media would also be accepted. In addition, stories produced between the 1st of January 2020 to the 31st of December 2020 on Gambian registered media outlets are eligible for entry. Please note that opinion and articles, advertorials, works produced under contract for commercial promotion, and newsletter issues or articles are not eligible.
In 2020, the awards categories were trimmed down to 13 due to the surge of the coronavirus pandemic. Madam Nyangjai further outlined the 18 categories that are up for grabs in this year's awards.
The 2021 Awards Committee is happy to inform you that 18 awards categories are available for this year's ceremony, excluding the special GPU awards. The respective categories are as follows: Business and Finance Reporting Award, Sports Reporting Award, Environment, Investigative, Health and Medical Reporting, Women's Reporting, Children's Reporting, Travel and Tourism Reporting Award, Culture, Arts and Entertainment Reporting Award, Agriculture Reporting Award, Political Reporting, Human Rights Reporting, Legal Affairs Reporting, Photojournalism, Journalist of the Year, Television Station of the Award of the Year, Radio Station of the Year, Community Radio, Community or Rural Radio of the Year.
She further highlighted the criteria that the judges would look for in their assessments.
Furthermore, the Awards Committee is on the verge of confirming independent media experts with high degree of integrity who would serve as panel of judges for the awards. Their names and biographies would be published in our website shortly. They would be receiving and assessing all entries and decide on the best entries that deserve the awards. In their assessment of entries, the judges would be looking at accuracy and relevance, grammar, style and presentation, the impact of the story, creativity and originality.
The committee noted that despite the GPU Awards Committee choosing judges, it assured everyone that the judges would be completely independent and would not in any way be influenced by anyone in executing their work.
Khadija Seka reporting there as preparation begun for the 2021 Gambia Press Union Journalism Award in the Gambia. Now, in a bid to supply vehicles with compressed natural gas, Egypt's first mobile fueling station kick-started operations in the North African country amid rising demand. The country's Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources said the initiative is part of the petroleum sector's desire to provide new outlets that will supply cars with natural gas. Here is more details of that in this report.
The Egyptian-designed vehicle is hitting the streets for the first time in the Middle East and North Africa. The station has a capacity to fuel 500 cars in 12 hours and the ability to double the amount when needed. It can also store and transport 5,000 meters cubed of natural gas or CNG. This fueling station, like many others to be established soon, are meant to serve the growing number of Egyptians who are benefiting from a government scheme to own natural gas-powered vehicles. The mobile station is spearheaded by state-owned Gastech company.
The people now is going very well for converting cars for CNG. Now we have in monthly 5,000 vehicles converted to gas, and also the companies for assembling the vehicles change the vehicles from gasoline to gas to working by CNG for the customers. Because the customers always require the vehicles working by natural gas. There is some places in Egypt there is no networks for natural gas. We can locate this station, mobile station, in these places.
About 80,000 Egyptians have opted to convert their vehicles to use natural gas in the last year, and more are signing up.
Natural gas is cheaper, saves money and gives an efficient performance for the car. The idea is very good, especially that there are not many stations when traveling. I hope we see more of this everywhere.
The company is planning to deploy 10 more mobile units in addition to 700 new conventional natural gas stations in the next year. Egypt has been benefiting from its huge gas discoveries over the last few years as more people convert their vehicle engines from using the expensive fossil fuels to consuming the much cheaper and more abundant natural gas.
Great initiative there by the Egyptian authorities. And let's stay in the North African region. Now, in an effort to combat irregular migration, the President of Tunisia has called on the European Union to find a solution to the root cause of irregular migration. Now, but the EU official said most of the irregular migrants in Europe will be given a return decision. And here's more of that in this report.
President Kais Saied urged European officials to adopt a comprehensive approach to irregular migration that goes beyond security solutions and addresses the root cause of this phenomenon. The Tunisian head of state emphasized the importance of combating poverty and unemployment and promoting development policies.
Unlike in the past, now we all need to look for a new way of tackling irregular migration. It's useless to treat the consequences without understanding the cause of this phenomenon. The main reasons are certainly linked to social and economic situation. Irregular migration from Tunisia was non-existent some 20 years ago, or very limited. The visa to Europe was not even required.
EU Commissioner for Home Affairs noted that most irregular arrivals from Tunisia will not be eligible to stay in Europe. In fact, irregular migrants will be given a return decision. Ylva Johansson added that this agreement will destroy the business model of the smugglers.
But it's equally important to also prevent irregular departures, to manage migration, border management, to fight these organized criminal groups that are arranging and making a huge lot of money of putting people or convincing people to get into these boats on very dangerous journeys. We have to fight the smugglers and prevent irregular departures.
Italy's Interior Minister announced that Tunisian authorities are willing to repatriate thousands of irregular migrants who have reached Lampedusa after departing from the Tunisian coast.
Tunisia has welcomed Italy's proposal to establish a direct hotline between our two countries to contain and block these irregular departures.
The EU Commissioner for Home Affairs and Italian Interior Minister declared that the stability of Tunisia and the post-pandemic economic recovery are necessary for stability in Italy and the EU. Europe is committed to supporting Tunisia by contributing to development and to job creation in order to reduce irregular migration.
Irregular migration continues to be a challenge for many countries around the world, especially in the North African region, where many people, of course, use the countries as a route to Europe. Now, with that report there from Tunisia, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on africa.tv. But for now, though, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and do have a very pleasant afternoon. Bye for now.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our